Imagine your life as a ship drifting through the vast ocean of time. Every action, every habit you adopt, is like the hand on the wheel that directs your course. Some habits act as powerful oars, driving you forward toward calm seas and safe harbors, leading you to peace and success. Yet some habits are like hidden reefs, silently undermining your journey, pulling you off course and threatening to capsize your ship unless you recognize and remove them before it's too late. The trick, however, is that we often don't see these reefs until we're already stuck, struggling to move ahead. A habit, by definition, is something we do regularly, almost without thinking. It becomes ingrained in our behavior and is often challenging to break. Even when we realize that a habit is damaging our health, our relationships, or our finances, breaking free from it feels nearly impossible. Bad habits are like invisible traps that condition us to repeat them without conscious thought, leaving our minds dormant and unaware. However, it is possible to escape this vicious cycle. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism, practiced for thousands of years, offers powerful principles to help us build self-discipline, break destructive habits, and replace them with conscious, meaningful actions. Today, we'll explore 7 Stoic habits that can help free your mind, remove negative patterns, and guide you toward a life of inner stability and lasting peace. These lessons, rooted in ancient wisdom, remain as relevant today as ever. Let's begin. Habit number: attachment to material possessions. I once assisted a close friend who was in a deep struggle over whether to discard several old boxes of craft supplies she had kept for over 2 decades. They held no practical value, but were filled with old supplies she had once used. She hesitated to throw them away, fearing future regret or the possibility that one day they might serve a purpose. This attachment to objects, even those we don't need or use, can be a powerful force that drags us down. In contrast, I worked with another individual who viewed her possessions quite differently. When asked which items she would save in case of a fire, she couldn't think of a single object she would prioritize. To her, possessions were simply things, nothing more, nothing less. This stark contrast highlights a common problem: the attachment to material possessions. Stoic philosophy continuously warns against this very attachment, which, while seemingly harmless, ultimately becomes a barrier to our spiritual freedom. Material possessions, regardless of their monetary or sentimental value, are inanimate objects. When we attach our sense of happiness and well-being to them, we set ourselves up for disappointment and suffering. Stoicism teaches that attachment to material things leads to anxiety, envy, and the perpetual desire for more. The belief that possessions can bring lasting happiness is a false one, and chasing after things only creates an endless cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. This attachment also prevents us from seeing the transient nature of the world around us. All things, including the things we own, are impermanent. Possessions can be lost, damaged, or rendered obsolete over time. If we cling to these objects as the source of our joy, their loss brings deep suffering. Instead of finding peace in the acquisition of material goods, Stoicism advocates for finding joy from within, from cultivating inner tranquility, and freeing ourselves from unnecessary desires. Moreover, excessive attachment to possessions often leads to feelings of comparison and envy. We begin measuring our worth based on what we have, creating a false hierarchy that pits us against others. This not only damages our relationships, but it also robs us of our peace of mind. We lose the ability to appreciate others for who they are, instead viewing them as a means of measuring our own success. To break free from this cycle, Stoicism offers several practical strategies. The first is gratitude. Rather than constantly seeking more, we can learn to be grateful for what we already have. By practicing gratitude, we come to understand that true happiness doesn't come from accumulating more things, but from appreciating the things we already possess. Next, simplifying life is key. Embrace minimalism by eliminating unnecessary items and focusing on the core aspects of your life that bring genuine fulfillment. Stoicism teaches that less is often more when it comes to material wealth. Lastly, generosity is another powerful antidote to material attachment. When we share what we have with others, we reduce our attachment and shift our focus from possessions to people and experiences. By doing so, we not only enrich our lives but also experience the true joy of giving. It's important to understand that for many, releasing attachment to material things is not easy. People often hold on to things out of fear of future regret, the fear that they might need the item or that it holds sentimental value. However, Stoic philosophy encourages us to live in the present, not in some uncertain future. Reflect on what you're clinging to, not just in terms of possessions, but also habits, thoughts, and emotions that no longer serve your purpose. When you do this, you'll begin to realize that letting go is the key to moving forward. Habit number 2, clinging to past regrets. Now let's turn to another habit that obstructs our spiritual freedom, the habit of clinging to past regrets. Regret is a feeling almost everyone experiences at some point in their life. However, it's essential to recognize that regret, when not dealt with, can imprison us in the past, preventing us from moving forward. What's done is done, and no amount of dwelling on past mistakes can change the course of history. But when we hold on to regret, we trap ourselves in a cycle of self-blame and sorrow, constantly reliving moments that can never be undone. This not only damages our mental health, but also erodes our ability to appreciate the present moment. For instance, imagine you regret not spending enough time with your family during crucial years because you were focused on work. As time passes, you notice that your relationships with loved ones have weakened, and you feel stuck in a spiral of regret. You replay the missed moments in your mind, wishing things had gone differently. But in doing so, you miss out on the opportunity to heal and build new memories with those you care about. Stoic philosophy teaches us that dwelling on past mistakes prevents us from seeing the beauty in the present. Regret distorts our perception, often making us focus on what went wrong instead of what we have now. The Stoics offer a different perspective: acceptance and reason. The past is gone, and there is nothing we can do to change it. However, we can control how we respond to it. To move past regret, Stoicism suggests several practices. First and foremost, practicing self-compassion is essential. Rather than harshly judging ourselves for past mistakes, we must treat ourselves with kindness and understanding. Mistakes are an inevitable part of being human, and each one offers an opportunity for growth. Recognizing this helps us move beyond regret and begin the process of healing. Forgiveness is another key aspect of overcoming regret. By forgiving ourselves and others for past actions, we release the burden of resentment and create space for healing and renewal. Holding on to negative emotions only prolongs suffering, while forgiveness opens the door to growth and peace. Focusing on the present moment is also a vital tool in this process. By bringing our attention back to the here and now, whether through mindfulness, meditation, or simply breathing deeply, we free ourselves from the hold of the past. These practices calm the mind and allow us to move forward with clarity and purpose. Finally, Stoicism teaches that every mistake, every regret, is an opportunity to learn. Instead of drowning in self-pity, reflect on what the experience taught you. Use it as a guide for your future actions, as each mistake is a stepping stone toward personal growth and wisdom. Conclusion: breaking free. We all have habits that hold us back, whether it's an attachment to material possessions, a tendency to dwell on past mistakes, or something else entirely. These habits, when left unchecked, can create unnecessary suffering, hindering our progress and happiness. However, Stoicism offers a clear path forward. By practicing gratitude, simplifying our lives, and embracing inner peace, we can break free from these negative patterns. The journey towards spiritual freedom and mental clarity begins with the simple realization that we don't have to remain trapped in unhealthy habits. The tools of Stoic philosophy are not just abstract concepts, they are practical principles that can transform our lives. Through self-compassion, forgiveness, mindfulness, and learning from our experiences, we can shift our mindset and change the course of our lives. So, ask yourself, what